have with us Mr. Pawan. Mr. Pawan is the AI architect from Tech Mahindra. Mr. Pawan, welcome to Global Business Line.
Hi.
As the AI architect, we have many of the questions with you going on. So before that, do you want to add something about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a AI architect past 10 years, wherein I have been spending time with the enterprise customers with B2B and B2C and educating or empowering the CXO level community, wherein how the AI can be leveraged for their business or the enterprise. At the same time, it's more towards the developing the platforms or the products which are to be for the future, and this is empowered by with the community level encouragement, where we try to encourage more of the data scientists across the world or data engineers, and enabling the languages like Python, R, and also the open sources like Linux Foundation, which is coming up with the frameworks. And I have been working with customers across the globe, wherein primarily it's Europe, Middle East, Asia Pacific region, and it's more towards the telecom customers as a profession. At the same time, also I was actually personally involved in some sort of schools and education system where we wanted to actually get AI enabled education, where the students get the information or capture the information in the social media regarding their interests, and we would try to actually encourage that for the teachers to enable for the future specific profession for them. So primarily for the professional front of it, yes, I'm a AI architect at Tech Mahindra, working with various customers. And personally, I'm also involved in some organizations of charity, or wherein the education is leveraged, or at the same time finding the disabled people. And during Corona pandemic, we are trying to launch some products or platforms which are more useful for the futuristic crowd of the community.
Okay. So how you look at AI in next 5 to 10 years, as in the finance sector?
Well, to consider the finance sector, we do have multiple problems which are to be addressed, which is like right from you say mortgage level defaulters to the identification of the prospective customers who would be approached in order to have their small and medium enterprise loans, or anybody who is like trying to capture as an individual. For example, if you take Alipay from Alibaba, which is like it's a pretty good platform which is actually enabling the individual level business people across the globe, and they have actually crossed the margin or the even the turnover. When you see, like, they crossed $50 billion daily turnover, even they have crossed the Visa and MasterCard. That's primarily because of AI. AI is something which when we encourage it to a level of, it's a very complex technology wherein you need to know the coding or understand the algorithm. At the same time, if you see the other side of it, we would have the complete user specific information or the customer experience, which is directly impacted. So it's AI is something which is a combination of a resource or a product or a person, which is actually joining both the merging both the technology and the customers. And this actually requires both the extreme level of technology and the extreme level of customer experience impact analysis and the work to be done. So AI is going in the future, it's going to be like impacting towards including the today, for example, if you see the communication level, the if I take up the example of the product which we are making through the Kinesics Meets, which is primarily for the deaf people to be encouraged and collaborated with the technology, we have used some sort of computer vision along with the TensorFlow and Keras algorithms, wherein we have integrated it, trying to manipulate the sign language to voice, voice to sign language, we are still in the process of the beta version of it, but I can see in future that at least 20 to 30 million users in 5 years of DevP community would be able to actually join the calls, join the WebEx, or join any of the community meetings where they can join the conferences, either for the education or for the employment, and their communication is seamless. They are integrated with us. So AI is not just for the businesses to know their future. AI is not just for the organizations which need to identify their operational optimization, but AI is used for tech for good, which is more for the global or the environment level or the disabled people. If you see, like we have around 200 plus million people across the globe who are speaking 200 plus sign languages and 200 plus languages. Yes. So Google company as Google is giving us this APIs by which we are trying to encourage this. So it's like, it's a impact which is not just for the organization or business, it's towards the tech community, which is integrating the globe.
Along with this, I want to ask that, is AI suits to every line of business?
Yes, exactly. If you see, for example, today, the way the world is going during the pandemic scenario, where the digitization or the digital technology is mandatory now. It's not just that if you see the Zoom, which has increased their the customer base in last 1 year, it's you can see the difference actually. Similarly, if you see the tomorrow's impact on the manufacturing industry, for example, or the financial industry, where I would like to know all my transactions real time, wherein I should be able to identify the fraud for my. So today the problem is if you can identify all the problem areas, you're secured. So the security for the financial sector, if you see with respect to digital technology, it's going to be major impact, and we need to focus a lot on the security where we identify all the problem areas with respect to. There are more people who are actually trying to intrude into your network or intrude into your financial system to capture the data and try to do some fraud scenarios. So the more AI you implement, the machine is 100 times or 1,000 times faster thinking faster than the human. So it's obvious that once we implement such algorithms, which will empower the financial system not to break down for any sort of fraud or the security threat which comes in, it's going to be a major benefit for the financial industry.
But definitely the people are there who are using AI only to do the frauds, right?
Yeah, there are people who are doing using AI to do the fraud. So the financial system should be built in such a way that you consider all the scenarios of the fraud prior, which is like you should, for example, if you see the transaction level of Alipay, so in spite of being $50 billion plus transaction, so they are actually secured because we understand that they have more than 200 million attacks in a day. Okay. So if it's like the considering the number of attacks you have, if you are secured still, which means you actually your algorithm is pretty much efficient enough to secure your financial system actually.
100%. So along with that, okay, tell me what are the sectors where Tech Mahindra is focused with the enabled AI systems?
Yeah, Tech Mahindra, if you see, we have a diverse portfolio, right from telecom, financial sector, and insurance tech. And we have actually a lab called Makers Lab, wherein we develop the innovative products in order to launch or publish. So it's like we are actually also bridging the gap between the academia and the industrialization or the commercialization or operationalization of any of the products or platforms. So it's more towards when you bridge the gap between the academia and the industry. That's the best part of it, because you know that the research paper can be converted into a product which is useful for the operational or the business user or the business or of any of the enterprises as a platform or product. For example, you see 6G lab or 5G lab which is set up. Still we are doing a lot of experiments on 5G lab. There are experiments which are initiated for 6G lab, etc. So these sort of even if you take up a telecom as a platform for 6G or 5G, it's more like a platform for all the industries to come over and then go ahead with the use cases. So for example, we are targeting the manufacturing similar way, wherein we want to do everything remotely monitored, resolving the problems of the engineers real time in microseconds. Any machinery issue can be communicated to them in microseconds, wherein they'll be immediately being addressed and resolved, and the customers are not impacted in seconds.
Okay, so similarly, if I talk about AI, machine learning, robotics, which is going to lead the world in the future days?
If you see AI, the way I look at it is like AI is a superset of machine learning robotics. Robotics for us is more like we build bots actually. I remember a time around 6 years back, we built around 5,000 bots for a particular customer. A bot is nothing but a manual activity being replaced by a script or a job which is actually executed automatically. So AI, if you see from the perspective of bots, it's one scenario. If you see from the AI from the perspective of the slightly bigger part of it, like the way we are using today the TensorFlow, Keras, or any of the latest algorithms or the frameworks being developed by, for example, the Linux Foundation is coming up with wonderful projects on the open source communities. If you take up these things, which can be actually used as, for example, AI as a marketplace. Or AI as a what you call for the any of the users should be able to just log in and then use the algorithm, get the output right away. So these sort of and on the or the data scientists or data developers being launching the algorithms right away on the platform.
Okay, so is AI is available for each and every person? So do you have can we say that okay, if you want to use AI, just log in over here and take whatever AI you want and you can use it in your product?
Yeah, there are two things, two ways to look at it actually. One is, as we initially discussed, there is a business part of it. Yes. There is also a technology part of it. Yes. So technology is again hardcore, business is again hardcore. If you see the technology, for example, a data scientist, a data developer, or a data architect, or anybody who is actually having the exposure to the data or the model or anything he wants to develop for the business, or it could be that internally he would be optimizing any of the algorithm for the future. So this is the level of depth he requires, either through the open source or through the commercial products. Similarly, if you take the business side of it, you need marketing for that, you need sales for that, you need finance for that, you need any of the operations for that. So you would have all the business verticals who are actually accessing this as an AI. So if you see the business part of it, yes, there are a lot of people who are required, who have to be empowered with these particular models or just to use it. At the same time, we need a hardcore technocrats who are actually getting into the algorithm or the usage of it or understand the data and try to drill out the insights for the business.
Okay. So again, my question is, how is that impacting the life of a common man?
Yeah, if you see the experience, let's start with the customer experience. There are multiple factors we look into this, like adaptability. We look into the customer experience. We look into the sustainability. We look into the recovery of disaster or something like that. Let me take up an example of disaster recovery, which is what is my favorite subject of late. I've been doing some research on that along with the academia, with some professor. So the idea was for us, like today, if you are able to identify, for example, if there is a disaster or a cyclone or there is a flood, wherein there are many families who are impacted, who are not known who exactly requires what. So what we have done along with the university is like we try to develop a platform which actually captures the data from the social media. Let's say you are at home and you just post it on the Facebook or LinkedIn or any of your social media. We would be able to capture, including the data, and we use the AI for running this algorithm along with the coordinates of yours, which actually gives an output for the enterprises or individuals who would like to approach you, or the charity organizations who are trying to address this particular family. Okay, this family requires food, this family requires immediate medical aid. So this sort of communication is helpful, which is like a disaster recovery is also
upon here also. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but again here AI is dependent upon social media platforms,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what the AI is doing, AI is only collecting the data and giving it to the required means. Okay, but my question is how AI is useful to the common man. Suppose today I am sitting in my office, right?
Yeah.
And from here, can AI know that what I am looking into it? If I don't, if I don't know, means if I don't want to give it to them, or without any social media. Suppose I am not on social media, then how
Yes.
is it going to help me?
Yes. If you see, the best example is Paytm, wherein the financial system, they actually initially, we don't have we still do have people who don't have internet access.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see the financial system like Paytm, we
Mm-hmm.
are actually encouraging to a level of somebody who is an individual, a farmer who doesn't even have a bank account.
Exactly.
He can still be empowered with a Paytm product. Like I'm fond of Sanjeev actually, who has launched it. It's
Okay.
one of the wonderful products today actually, which is empowering individuals level. Now this Paytm product is leveraged as a new financial system. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you see the existing financial system, it's more like top bottom approach. You
Exactly.
first give something to the rich, next
Mm-hmm.
you give something to the middleman, next you finally you reach the poor. So Paytm is such a technology or such a simple concept which has come up with bottom up approach. First you serve the poor, then you serve the middleman, and you come to the rich. So it gives that flexibility actually, which is encouraged. So for the common man, for this again, if you can implement AI and know what exactly, who is the one who requires it, the next loan, who requires, whose business is doing fine, and which part of the crop, which area the crops are being damaged, and which farmers would require this particular next level funding, and try to encourage the loans for them. It's actually one of the best things to happen. So farmers need not reach you. You reach out to farmers saying that you have a problem here, and then let's have funding for you. Let's do the
Exactly.
partnership agreement, so that this actually saves the lives of the farmers also, because they don't know where to reach out to, and in that panic scenario they cannot go anywhere and ask for the money, and nobody eventually gives also. Like let's say somebody has money, they would get money easily from the banks or any financial institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody doesn't have, nobody gets it. So it's
Exactly.
like you can bridge the gap, and then you can solve the problem identifying proactively. You can predict the crops and then give the financial funding or the assistance to the farmers who are actually not having it.
Okay. So today, still till today, okay, we are dependent upon the forecasts, right?
Yes.
The weather forecast, or you can say something other forecast. When the time will come that AI will say, okay, don't worry, this is the problem which is coming in next 4 days. Okay, so be prepared for that.
Exactly. So this actually, we have worked with a university actually in Orissa some time back, wherein I know a scientist who is working on it still. We have reached a state wherein we have collected some places which are agricultural lands, and we are trying to, they are trying to capture all the statistics regularly and trying to build the model, which is
Mhm.
like which would be predicting like what impact on the weather could happen to
Mhm.
this particular crop. So the impact of weather to the crop or impact of weather to any of the ground level environment problems which could be addressed. This research is in progress. Well, I'm not sure in off late actually what happened to that algorithm or the model is completed or not. But then
Mhm.
yes, as you said, like that's one of the things which is to be updated, because today the weather report itself, we say, right, like the weather report always says the whatever the forecast it gives, it's just 70 to 80% accurate. It's
Mhm.
not 90 also. So yes, that research is also in progress, maybe at the same time. Well, I'm not involved in that part of the world though.
Mhm. So see, Global Business Line is a platform where we support startups. Okay, so on that context, I want to ask that where the startup should work on AI, on which fields. Okay, suppose see we are here today. We see that everybody is coming with the AI. Okay, suppose it's on a technology part, it's on a device part, it's on a IoT part, it's with the robotics or it's with the machine learning. They are bringing up AI, but as a AI architect, you have such a 10 vast years of the experience. Okay, so can you suggest few of the areas where the startup should work, okay, with AI to give a better solution to the world.
Yes, actually, one of the things which I was working or I was just involved a bit was towards the IoT part of it, where we have the sensors data to be captured.
Mhm.
And today, fortunately, we have a platform enabled for that, which is like 5G has come up now and
Mhm.
6G is coming up. And even 4G in places like India, we do have complete coverage now. So let's say you have something which is real time. So
Mhm.
today the problem is like everything has a latency and the computational time is a problem. So
Mhm.
let's say if we identify the use cases on the edge computing where you can do the particular problem resolution at the end product level. For
Mhm.
example, I have a machinery problem. If I'm able to resolve in microseconds and identify a specific engineer that, okay, this problem I could resolve, this problem is still pending. So for
Mhm.
this, if you can capture all that machinery data of last 10 years and try to build an algorithm of for this particular machinery across, saying like how fast you can predict and then how accurate you can predict and provide a result to that particular engineer to resolve the problem of that.
Mhm.
So that's one example I can give. And if you see the flip side of it, AI can be used for the experience of the customer or even the improve the current environment of the technology stack itself. For example, today I'm trying to derive my insights on the as a B2C company. If I want to derive the insights on a GPS level or a location level or any sort of insights, it would actually take some time. Let's say tomorrow I'm enabled with an AI enabled app which is solving the problem for the customer experience. Today customer has a problem, I'm able to solve it immediately, but tomorrow I would be able to, if I'm able to predict the problem and solve it prior, customer doesn't come back. So every complaint you get today for any business is actually can be solved by an AI solution and resolved either for the customer or for the business or operations.
Okay, but again, so you want to suggest startups that go for environment, right? Environment, how to save the environment, how to save the nature. Okay, because today that's the biggest challenge. So save the nature, save the environment with the use of AI. Okay,
Yes.
that is what Mr. Pawan is suggesting to all the startups, right? Okay, my next question is to you is, do you think coding should make compulsory to everyone?
Well, as such, if you see coding, it's very much simplified today.
Mhm.
Earlier days, you see there was a complex understanding of the libraries, Java, and if you see earlier days like C programming, the device level programming.
Mhm.
Today, don't have to invent or discover anything. It's just that you have to search for the right product. And today we have to a level of, let's say, one programming language like Python or Java or C. We do have translators today. You do have converters today. So I'm sure that if you ask me any primitive language like
Mhm.
Python or Java or even C, like one programming language is mandatory for any business or the technology person because
Exactly.
it's very useful. He's very handy with the data and then he can do the whatever work he wants to actually.
Mhm.
It's just one of the skill set you can say he needs to add on. If you can see like the companies like Uber, some time back I knew, like out of 8,000 employees they had, 7,500 employees knew SQL. So it is like, and they had an open platform. Like it's more
Exactly.
like every company today is in a state where they require the one programming language for the success story of tomorrow of them.
Mhm. So, any message to our viewers?
I would recommend any of the person who is getting into AI from the technology side. I would recommend take up one programming language, take up one specific problem area, try
Mhm.
to do a experimental results with a very sample data of 20-25 people or 20-25 resources or 20-25 products or 20-25 sensors and try to see what best you can do from that apart from enhancing the algorithm because we do have data scientists who have implemented wonderful algorithms and today we are like empowered with complete 8,000 plus available algorithms which can be used extensively. At the same time, for the business, anybody who wants to target to the business or enhance their existing business or the futuristic business, I would encourage them to learn at least Python, which actually by which they can do their activities. At the same time, if they can actually understand the data or the models, it would be very much beneficial for them. We do have a lot of learning videos online, and then also Udemy and Coursera are encouraging for that. So this sort of integration will empower for tomorrow's job environment also for them.
Definitely, definitely. And we know that the coming job openings are most on the machine learning AI. So
Yes.
people have, if they want to go with the technology part, they can definitely, if you want to go for the learning part, go learn AI systems. Okay, learn any of the, basic language first and then go for the AI. That really has a vast, vast requirement, vast job opportunities in the coming days. So
I would strongly recommend somebody who is doing a regular job from 9 to 5, which is a repetitive job. I would definitely encourage him to go for AI right away. Try to automate his job, not a problem. He can find another job through AI and he can automate more number of things for the future. Else he is becoming redundant in next 3 years for sure.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Pawan, for your wonderful time and for sharing your wonderful experience with the Global Business Line viewers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.